Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, the said God, Mother Eve, the waters, the revelation. Of course, revelation is 13. Okay, so like waters, of course. Let's just double check this if the word waters, I think it's the same as revelation. Waters. Okay, waters is 23. Okay, of course. So I have done this. Let's just do that. This is 5, 1, 2, 5, 9, 1. Okay, so this is 10 and this is 20, of course 23. I have a splendid memory. Okay, so 23 is 5. So calling on waters, calling on revelation, calling on the Kundalini rise, calling upon the Christ spirit within us, calling on the pyramid within us, because the pyramid really is that which is, we are the pyramid. We are many pyramids, we could say. I don't know, I haven't been inside of one, but I'm believing that it is really made on the same constructs that we are. Well, of course it is, because it equals 5, and we are number 5 as well. We are of 5 points. We are Mother Eve. We are Eve, of course, is 5, and Eve is that which is exists before any event really takes place. So this is what this is foundation. Number 5 in essence is that foundation. The word snake, for instance, is 5, and that's why Mother Eve, of course, had taken on the role of being the snake to really be that foundation for us, that to helping us. It's like a mother taking role playing with a child, and that's how the child learns. There is no difference to us and Mother Eve in this sense. We have been taught to dislike our mother, disconnect completely with Mother Eve, and that has not served us well at all. We have become distant, not only with Mother Eve but ourselves as well. So it is really important that we get to understand the significance of the teachings that we are being presented now, whether it is in word or whether it is in through music or whatever it is that will help us reconnect to the divine feminine. That is really essential that we do that. Now, I had this thing that I thought it was very important that I began doing that with my biological mother, to really get to have that, build that relationship. And I am of the belief that the conviction, if I had not done that, I would not be here, right, doing these presentations or teaching on this subject. I would still be feeling very disconnected with the divine force. And so it's because of the joy that I am now experiencing on embracing, and of course how it has transformed my life. Now I am really on this quest to really helping people or encourage people to find not only the child within you, because that's important. After finding the child within you, it's the two are interrelated. Finding the mother aspect within you as well. Of course, we have the external representation of the mother. We have been taught that this biological womb that we came out from, that represents our mother. Now, some of us don't have the means to say, well, we have the means, but to say we have, maybe our mothers have passed on, and that was the case with my mother. So in actual fact, it really my case is really a case that I suppose I am hoping would be helpful, because I had passed on with my mom had passed on, so my mother had passed on, and so but I was still with the belief that she had been part of my makeup. She had been part of my makeup then that part of my makeup, I still had a channel or a line in which I could communicate with her. So I'm hoping that makes sense to you. Whenever we are in there's a relationship, whether in our memory or whether in our action, we are remembering someone, that means they are still part of all of our makeup. Hence, that is a line in which we can directly have a communication, or have a communication directly with this entity, person, or whatever it is. And that I was able to do. And so I was able to have this connection and dialogue with my mother, and so much so that she presented herself in dreams to me that really was very wonderful, where I was able to see that I was forgiven for the thoughts that I held of her. But having said that, the other point that I made was, well, writing. I wrote about my relationship with my mother in The Crimson Light, The Bridge to Actualizing Self-Love, which is the book that I wrote. Well, it's not the bridge, a bridge to actualizing self-love. So one of the volumes of my self-discovery. So in that, in the book of The Crimson Light, I address that story with my mother. In fact, it is the 6th chapter. And that 6th chapter was the chapter, as I have said in previous presentations, had disappeared altogether from, I think it's the 6th, either the 5th or the 6th chapter, thereabout. But wow, the 5th, well, both of these chapters were very instrumental in discovering myself. So in this or it could even be the 4th chapter, but here we see, as I have done the numerical value for the word 4, it equals 6. Or the word 5 also equals 6, and 6 is 7, which is a cycle in itself. So whether it was 4 or 5 or 6, it all very significant. Now I'm saying all of this to really encourage people to have this dialogue. Writing is so liberating. It really helps you pierce the veils that had not that had not seemed approachable before, but it really helps to heal and find the connection with mother. So whether it was a pleasant one or unpleasant, or whether and I think we all have, to some extent, some things, some question we would really like to address with our parents, and because we all go through this through a cycle where we have to put the puzzle pieces together. So basically, this I'm calling this the cycle of life, and the cycle of creation has presented a ground, it has presented a forum where we have to make sense. We have to begin to learn to make sense of who we are. So who we are, of course, we are number 5, we are number 6. This is where I say 5 is also 6, and we see how 6 is 7. So there we have to understand the cycles that we go through ourselves. And if in case you are new to this channel, for instance, this is Mother Eve, and this here we are this is the template that have been derived or have been constructed through trying to understand ourselves, making sense of that which had been passed on to us, which was the sacrifice of Christ. I have spoken on this in a presentation that I just did with concerning the number 33. I made mention to Mel Gibson of the Passion of Christ as well, but I also saw that the magnitude that people would go to justify an argument, or to justify to prolong and to lengthen a cycle that really could be shorter. In essence, it could really be a cycle that, like 33, for instance, is really coinciding with the word believe. It coincides with people, it coincides with person, it coincides with I think with the word 40, which I just did. Now, we would not think that the word 40 had any business to do with 33, which is 6. And so there we are seeing with the word 40, which equals 33. 3 plus 3 is 6. And of course, as I say, when we do the numerical value for the word for, it also equals 6. We need to understand that all the drama that we have been presented with is really a detour into getting to where we need to be. So I'm going to end this presentation here, and I hope you will join me when we further explore the cycles and of life, and the cycles and creation of, or the cycle of creation, something to that effect, the cycle of life and creation. That's what I think I've called it. Okay, so do join me. I thought I would really do this so that you can see, for instance, or get little bite size that can enable us to understand the longer presentations. So just to get you to understand, as I say 40, we have done this, which is 7, 2, 9, 3, 6, 6. Of course, 2 6s, this like your W. So this is 12, and this is, like I say, 3 9s. It's easier this way. This is 9, 9, 9. 3 9s, 27. 27 plus 6. Here we have, this is 13. 33. So 33, of course, and when we do the numerical value for the word for, so we can see that 4 and 40 is really one and the same. Yes, this is 6, 6, 3, 9. Again, we have 9 and 9, 18. 18 plus 6 is, this is 14, and 1 plus 4 is 2. 1 plus 2, sorry, 1 plus 1 is 2. My brain goes into overdrive. And 2 plus 4 is 6. So this is what we are talking about here. So 40 is 6. So all these long digits that we are given, we can see in essence that the numbers really go from 1 to 9, and that's it. And we should not really be getting ourselves confused in the process. Then of course we have this world, or this the three-dimensional world, which is three-dimensional as well. We are talking about, going to talk about number 3 in my next presentation. We can see that it really presents it's like a puzzle to us. It presents the puzzle, but the puzzle is all there to help us understand how these cycles work. And the cycle is of 9. The cycle, each 9 year, I'm going to say that perhaps in all of the presentations, or most of them now in this cycle of presentation, that we are talking about 9. We are talking about whole. The word whole equals 9. I think it is, just because I have mentioned it. So this is 5, 3, 6, 8, 5. And so this is 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus 11 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. Okay, so we are talking about whole, and of course we see where we begin with 6. It's like the 6, we need to be turning ourselves inside out. So we are 6, but we need to get to understanding we are whole. So turning ourselves inside out, that's why we have 3 series of 6s and 9s here on the template. Do join me again. Let there be light, and there was light. Namaste. And spill over with love.